for your likes, for your shares, for your positive and encouraging comments, for subscribing to this channel, and for your monetary donations to this channel. I just want to simply say thank you. I truly appreciate your support. May God continue to bless and keep you all. Happy Monday, everybody. Can you all hear me? Give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Okay. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Shay. So happy Martin Luther King Day, y'all. I don't plan to be here for a long time, but we'll see how long that lasts. So let me go through the roll before I get started. I see Abril. Hey, Abril. I see Joe. Hey, Joe. Vaughn. Hey, Vaughn. Larry. Hey, Larry. Monique Poe. Hello, Monique. Welcome. I think this is my first time seeing you in the chat, but welcome. I appreciate your support. Charlie's Angel. Hey there, sis. Shay. Shay is in the bushes. She's at work. Hey, Shay. SBK, my peer. Hello there. How are you? And beautiful Senna. Welcome, everybody. Again, happy Monday. Happy MLK Day. And hello to everyone who may be in the bushes but have not come into the chat. So, y'all saw the title. We're going to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today. And I'm just going to go over some of the facts and some of my comments about Dr. King. So, for those who don't know, I know that in school, one of the people, okay, Vaughn, yeah, we're friends, Vaughn. So, one of the people that we often talked about in Black history, and I assume that's still the same way, is Martin Luther King. But I believe that there are some things about him that people still don't know. So let me get started. I'll try to keep up with the comments as best as I can, but I probably won't be looking too much at the chat. So please forgive me. I'll go back and look at some of the comments that I may have missed if I can. So, Michael King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia, to Michael King Sr. and Alberta Williams King. He was the second of 3 children. His dad changed his name and his son's name to Martin Luther, in 1934. It was changed officially on July 23rd, 1957, when Michael King Jr. was crossed out on his official birth certificate and replaced with Martin Luther King Jr. His dad had traveled to Germany for a Baptist World Alliance meeting in 1934 and was inspired by Martin Luther. On June 18, 1953, he married Coretta Scott in Alabama. Hey there, my daughter Shanice. Happy Monday. So, Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King had four children. The children's names were Martin III, Bernice, Yolanda, and Dexter. He earned his BA from Morehouse College in 1948. He was 19 years old. He also earned his Bachelor of Divinity from Crozer Theological Seminary in 1951. And on June 5th, 1955, he earned his PhD. That's where we get doctor from. In March of 1955, Claudette Colvin, who was a black teenager and pregnant at the time, refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery City bus. Um, Let me pause for a minute to say rest in peace to Claudette Colvin, who recently passed away. She was the first one to not give up her seat on the Birmingham bus. Hey, Jamila, welcome. Thank you for joining. Happy Monday. You know what the deal is, Jamila. Make sure you give the baby a hug and kiss from me. So, also in 1955, was in December of 1955, was when Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat. Hello, Stephanie. Let me highlight these coming in. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome. Yes, she recently passed, Vaughn. So rest in peace to her. Because this is about Dr. King, I'm not going to go too much into anyone else. But the 1955 boycott for the Montgomery bus was as a result of Colvin and Parks refusing to give up their seat. The boycott lasted 385 days. During this time, Dr. King's house was bombed. He was also arrested and jailed for driving 30 miles an hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. So Vaughn says that Rosa Parks is her birthday twin, and Stephanie says that her favorite preacher and CEO of the King Center will always be Reverend Dr. Bernice King. So his role in the 1955 boycott made him a national figure. In 1957, Dr. King and others founded the SCLC, which is the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He led the SCLC until he was unalive. Like his father, Dr. King was also a pastor. His most famous speech remains the I Have a Dream speech, which took place on August 28, 1963, in Washington, D.C., during the March on Washington. There are numerous quotes attributed to him. Even racists love to quote and often misquote his words. His last speech was given on Wednesday, April 3rd, 1968, which was the day before he was unalived. It was almost as though he knew that this would be his last speech. He said, "I've been to the mountaintop," while speaking to sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. King was a uniter. He urged protesters to not engage in violence. Part of his last speech reads, "Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop and I don't mind like anybody. I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain, and I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord." He was unalived the very next day at the Lorraine Motel. Dr. King also received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. I just want to remind everyone of that because I know that there's been a lot of talk about the Nobel Peace Prize these days. But I want to end this with another quote from Dr. King. He said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." Dr. King was not perfect by any means, but I believe that at the tender age of 36, he fulfilled his purpose. And I pray that we all fulfill our purpose just like he did, no matter what our age is. Now, I was one of those people who put this man on a pedestal for many years. I believed that he was a perfect man. I would say a lot during my youth, but when I heard about him and some things that weren't so good, I thought that those were lies because I had this man on a pedestal. But we have to be very careful of putting people on a pedestal. The only perfect man to ever walk this earth was Jesus Christ. And Dr. King wasn't him. And I'm not him. You're not him. None of us are. But we all have a purpose in this world. And it is up to us to fulfill our purpose, just as Dr. King did. He passed away, not passed away, he was unalive at the age of 36. And he did so much during those 36 years. I only gave a brief, I only talked a brief moment about him, but I urge everyone to go and do more research on Dr. King because there is so much more to him. Even the part about him as a child having a best friend who was a little Caucasian boy, and his parents were basically racist and didn't want him to be friends with the little boy. So I urge you all to go back and do some more research on Dr. King. There is so much more to him um, than I don't think I have time to really go over everything about this man. But this man had to be some kind of special for us to have a holiday in his honor. And I believe that the honor is definitely something that he earned. So I again I urge you all to, do more research and to learn more about this wonderful man who was not perfect, but he was still wonderful, and I still believe that he fulfilled his purpose here on earth. Do your research, and I hope that whatever I did talk about on this live um, blesses you. I'm still in awe about his last speech. I believe um, sometimes people tend to know when they're leaving this earth, and I get the feeling that he did know that that would be his last speech, and it's a very powerful speech. So again, thank you all for joining the live. Um, I'm going to drop the link if anybody wants to come up to say anything briefly about Martin Luther King, since it is, and today is in honor, it's a federal holiday in honor of him. So if you want to come up to say anything, please do so. Hey, Real. How are you? Happy Monday. Oh, and thanks for saying that, Real, because you all may not see me a lot on YouTube these days. I have a lot going on in my personal life. And so if you don't see me, please don't think that I no longer support you. I still support you. Those who I've been supporting, I still support you. And I appreciate your support as well. So, again, if anybody wants to come up to say anything, feel free. I'll give you a few minutes. And if not, I told you all that it wouldn't be a long live. So it's not going to be a long live. It's going to be definitely less than an hour because today is a holiday, and I realize that people, like to do things on holidays. I hope that whatever you're doing, you are remembering what the occasion is. I'm unable. Can one of my mods pin the link? I'm not able to pin it right now. All right, Senna. Love you always. Thank you. Abril says, we honor you and all your sacrifices, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Continue to fly high, King. Yes, Abril. And by the way, Dr. King is the only king that I observe for his good works in America. Okay, hold up. Somebody came, but they dropped down. What happened? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to see if you can come back, if you want to come back. I'm not sure if anybody can pin the link. If not, let me know. I'll just keep putting it in the chat. Okay, let me Vaughn says she's struggling. Okay, Vaughn. Let me know if you still want to come up. Don't worry about it, y'all. I'll just keep posting it for a couple of more minutes. See if anybody wants to join. Okay, Abril, thank you. I love you always. Hey there. Oh, Vaughn, all this time. Hold up a minute. I gotta do this real quick. I forgot to put this up, y'all. There's a picture of Dr. King. I'm not sure of which speech that was, but that's enough. That's a picture of him that I wanted to. I really should have been doing it while I was talking about him, but here it is anyway. Okay, hey Vaughn, how are you?
Hey, Miss Alice. Hey, y'all. I figured, one of y'all would want to talk about Dr. King, but since y'all acting
Uh huh.
shy and all. Well, I just wanted to come say he is my absolute favorite. Okay, civil rights activist. Okay,
Okay.
um, because I think I was in either second or third grade. It
You don't
had
have to
to
say all
be.
of that. You don't have to say all of that, Vaughn, about you being in second or third grade. Okay. Some of us um, were married with children when you were in the second or third grade. So just go on, carry on.
No, listen to the significance of the story. But
Okay.
um I remember this because it was when I first learned about, uh I guess you could say civil rights, racism, our history, as people of color.
Uh
And it
huh.
was my grandmother, my great grandmother. She had this like what they call like a stereo. Miss Alice, you remember the stereos, the big stereos, and like with the record player thingy on it, right? And so
Yeah.
on the inside of it, she had like CDs. Not I don't know why I want to call them CDs. She had records, but she also
Uh
had
huh.
an encyclopedia. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because I had to do a project, for Black History Month. And I remember it was writing a paper, but I don't think I was writing a paper in second grade. So I'm gonna assume it was for third grade. Okay, I was
Okay.
writing paragraphs and stuff, right?
Okay.
And that was when I learned about Martin Luther King. It was with my grandma. It was cool. I was asking a bunch of questions because I'm nosy. I've always been, curious. And
Mhm.
she had told me that the day he was assassinated was her birthday. So that always stuck with me because it's like, okay, this is when I'm like finding, out about history. My grandma was telling me where she was the day. I think she was either getting her hair done or they were at the store or like,
Mhm.
it was like they were running around and stuff. So he's always been my favorite because he was about unity. And I know that sounds shocking, Miss Alice, okay? But before, I'm gonna say life happened, okay? I was one of
Mhm.
those individuals, okay, black, who really thought like racism and stuff was over with because of Dr. King. So so I like that
Okay.
he's about he was about, peace and us coming together. And that's why he was one of my favorites. So that's what I want to tell y'all.
Okay.
Don't act. And yeah, it's all lies, okay? The media hates him, okay? And don't y'all be deceived, okay? And that's all I want to say. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. well, thanks for adding that little bit. Also, oh, I have a niece who is also my goddaughter. Her birthday is also April 4th.
Really? That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, thanks for sharing um your comment about Dr. King. And I hope that you continue to follow his pattern and living your life's mission. You may not be a civil rights activist or anything like that, but I believe that we all have a purpose in this world. And I pray that we are all either working towards that or we are living our purpose.
Right. Now I'm gonna say this. Okay.
Mhm.
I was born the same day as Rosa Parks, so y'all look out, like for real. No, I'm just playing. But all I'm saying is, okay, February, you know, Martin Luther King Day, like all of this is really like I like all of that. Okay, yes, I'm making it about me, but you know what I'm trying to say, Miss Alice.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
love them, okay, and what they represent and what they did for us. And I'm a drop now because
Okay. Well, thank
But
you for sharing.
yes, I love you, Miss Alice. Great
I
live,
love you
and
more.
I hope you start doing when you used to drop little Black History clips in
Yeah,
February
I
again.
am.
You are okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm going to. I wanted to do it January, prayerfully February. I'll start doing it, but I will be doing it soon, and I'll let you all know beforehand that it's coming.
Okay, cool. I'll be looking for him. All right, y'all.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Okay, y'all. So I pinned the link in the chat. If anybody else wants to come up to say anything, um, please feel free to do so. I'm only going to be here a couple more minutes. Um, only a couple of more minutes. So if anybody wants to join the panel just to say what you have to say in memory or in honor of Dr. King, please feel free to do so. I'm going to give 3 or 4 more minutes for anybody who wants to come up to say anything. Again, I encourage everybody to go and do your own research on Dr. King. I'm sure there's some things that you may not know about him, that you may learn about this man. Don't I like to reiterate, don't think that he was a perfect man because he was not. And we should be careful of putting anybody on a pedestal. The one thing that Dr. King and every other man and woman besides Jesus shares with all of us is that none of us are perfect. Now, there's some things that he may have done that you may not do, but that's not to say that some of the things that you may have done, he wouldn't do. And so we have to be very careful of that, you know, even though he was a leader, there are some things we do expect from our leaders, but we cannot expect anyone, leader or non leader, to be perfect. Okay? So I'm giving you another minute if anybody else wants to say anything about Dr. King. Please feel free to hit the link. The link has been pinned in both chats. I'm not sure. I don't think you can click on the link on the vertical side, but if you're on a regular live stream, you can click on the link. So I'm going to give you another minute for anybody who may want to come up just to say what you think, how you learned about Dr. King, what you think about him, or anything, what you think about there being a holiday. So let me just say this as well. Thinking about how this became a holiday, I remember I don't like to do crowds, y'all, but as a teenager, I was actually in DC and I was actually protesting for Martin Luther King's birthday to become a holiday. So that's one thing that you may not know about me that I wanted to share real quick. Now, when he did his march on Washington, August 28th, 1963, that was before I was born. I was born in October of that year. So I didn't, the only thing I know about the March on Washington is from reading and from the media. But I did take part in making his birthday a holiday, which is something that I'm proud of, that I was able to participate in that movement. And Ronald Reagan did not want to make it a holiday, but I feel like he had no other choice but to make this man's birthday a federal holiday. Hey, Janice, happy Monday, happy holiday, happy MLK Day. How are you today? I'm not sure if you wanted to come up on the panel to say anything about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but let me know if you do. If not, I will be ending this live. I can't complain, Janice. I'm glad that you're doing well. Anybody else have anything to say in the chat or want to join the panel to say what you have to say? Okay. So let me go ahead and start ending the live. I want to remind everybody that our next giveaway is Thursday, this Thursday, January 22nd. Um, right now, the time is still at 4 p.m., I will let you all know if any of that changes. And just to let you know, I told you I had a lot going on in my personal life. And so the following Monday, which is next Monday, I may not be able to go live. I'm not sure about Thursday or any days following that, but I probably more than likely won't be going live on Monday, January 26th. So I plan for us to have an awesome time on Thursday. Make sure that you have watched the lives or watched my playlist. Um, if you want to be a part of the giveaway on Thursday. Okay. And thank you all again for all of your love and support for this channel. I truly appreciate you all. Okay, thanks, Vaughn. Let me go over who was in the chat again. First of all, let me say thank you again to everyone who support from the bushes. I appreciate your support. I want to thank Abril, Joe, Vaughn, Larry, Monique Poe, Charlie's Angel, Shay, my peer SBK, Beautiful Sinner, my daughter Shanice, Jamila, Stephanie, Real, and Janice. I want to thank you all for joining the chat today. I appreciate you all, and I want to remind you that God loves you even more than I do, and I really do love you all. Don't forget, if you are watching the replay, to leave a comment so that I'll know that you were here. And do some more research on Dr. Martin Luther King, because he was an awesome man. Not a perfect man, but an awesome man still. So until Thursday, if not sooner, I look forward to seeing you all. You looking for snow, Janice? We had a little bit of snow yesterday, but it didn't really do anything. The grounds are clear now. Stay blessed, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all on Thursday.